Hello and welcome to the big picture. The ferment which is happening following the incidents in JNU last week and before that in Hyderabad University where a student, Rohit Vemula, committed suicide has led to serious differences and debates in the country over the role of politics in universities. In all this churning which is happening, one thing a section of people are saying is that politics and students should be separated. Many argue that universities are for education and students should concentrate on it instead of indulging in politics. There are also those who are critical of the students in JNU for indulging in politics when their education is being subsidized by the people of the nation. There are obviously strong counter views also, as student politics, or rather students in politics, is not a new phenomenon. We will discuss today if politics and political debates should be part of campus life or not. To discuss this, I have with me Prof. Mridula Mukherjee, historian at the Center for Historical Studies, JNU, N.R. Mohanty, Director, JIMMC, and also former President of the JNU Students' Union, Abhijeet Dwivedi, ABVP leader in the JNU, Leni, Jadhav, General Secretary of the NSUI, and Geeta, Bhatt, Associate Professor in Instrumentation in Bhaskaracharya College in Delhi University. Welcome to all of you. Mridula Mukherjee, should university campuses just be a space for learning and education and not for political debates, discussions?
I think nobody would disagree that university campuses are and have to be primarily a place for learning and education and studies. However, politics is also part of our life, and politics in the large sense of the term, politics with a big P. That is, what is politics? Politics is about learning how your country is run, how people are governed, how do you participate in the political process. And in a democracy, to say that politics should be kept away from educational institutions, I think is an unviable situation. Oxford University also has an Oxford Union. None of the best universities in the world have ever banned students from indulging in political associations or thinking or talking or discussing political issues. In our own country, I would like to remind you that in our struggle for freedom, students played a stellar role. Mahatma Gandhi was the first one in 1920 when the non-cooperation movement came, where he actually gave a call to students to boycott schools and colleges, not just colleges. Even school children were asked to boycott the government-run schools, and they did so in thousands. Some of your leaders of the freedom struggle actually left their studies, big leaders who became big leaders later, left their studies or left government institutions and joined and set up national institutions. Before that, even in the Swadeshi movement, though no such call was given to give up schools and colleges, yet as part of the passive resistance movement, large numbers of youth participated, and youth are always the one who give a movement its energy, its idealism, its drive. Without youth, there is no movement.
There is no movement.
So in this country, we still have so many problems to solve, including those of poverty, backwardness, obscurantism, fundamentalism, communalism, to say that we should not sensitize the students at the university level to larger political issues. That's what I understand by politics, Politics is not just asking for, my tea to be cheaper in the canteen, or I want one more television in my common room. That's not politics we are talking about. So in the larger sense of the term, to understand the world in which we live and to be able to intervene in it meaningfully and to make the world a better place. That's what politics is about.
Absolutely. Geeta, but how do you look at this whole issue? Do you think that that students involved in politics is not a good idea?
Well, what I understand is that students are part or integral part of any university, and without students, universities will cease to exist. And universities, they are a reflection of the cultural change, the political change, the social change that is taking place across a country. So if, and politics is very much a part, as Mridula ma'am has just said, it is a very much a part and parcel of us. But the point is that whatever politics we are trying to evolve in within our university, it has to be within the purview of the constitution. It cannot be beyond. It's something which is being said and which is being done within the universities, which amounts to some anti-national feelings, and very explicitly that is something which cannot be taken lying down, or which should not be permitted in the universities.
Mohanty, you have been the president of the JNU Students Union, and Geeta Bhatt is talking about everything should be within the realm of constitution. By and large, I don't think anybody should have a problem with that formulation of hers. But JNU has been an interesting place. You have been a student, you have been a president of the union there. How did you handle it, and how do you see the recent events?
You see, the idea of politics, as ma'am was saying, politics is the process of governing oneself. And if at 18 someone is an adult and can vote, has the legitimate right to participate in the political process. And university is a campus where the politics is discussed, dissented, and a formulation is made. So you may be in favor of a particular policy, you may be against it. So that is what is the ferment of a higher education. We are not talking about schools. Schools, of course, they cannot discuss this issue. But when you are in a university, you are above the age of 18, you have a legitimate right to discuss this political process. And that is what JNU, largely a postgraduate university, has always internalized, and right from the beginning has incorporated the political discussion, which is not simply the issues relating to the nation, country, but across the world. That discussions are a part of that larger learning process. But in that, we always believed violence is not part of that process. We will debate fiercely inside the campus, even outside the campus, but in order to resolve the debate, we cannot resort to violence. And that is what was and has been the hallmark of JNU student movement. And there, this political process is as an integral part of learning process is in fact a welcome development, and that is something should be emulated across the country.
So in the present controversy which we are witnessing now, what happened last week in the university, the slogans raised, are they slogans raised? Some of them, everybody agrees that some of the slogans raised were not really in good taste, or in maybe they are seditious, maybe they are not. This has to be decided by the courts.
See, I have a point there. I am a proud Indian. I would not raise voice against India. I would like to resolve issues as within the presence of Indian Constitution and Indian larger political values. But I have a question. If someone raises a slogan against India, does the might of the state get assaulted by that free speech? I do not think so. State is extremely powerful to withstand such free speech. If somebody says that Kashmir should be free, after all, we demand that Palestine should be free, there should be a self-determination in Palestine. We can also have a debate, and people can disagree. You can fight that argument with your stronger argument. Why would you like to suppress that idea? That's why, while I am a proud Indian, I would not ask for a constitution to be torn down. But I can always demand constitution can be changed.
Constitution also can be challenged. Okay, so Abhijeet, how do you look at this? You are an ABVP leader. You are very much in the campus in JNU. The series of events which have happened there, ABVP has been very much a part of this whole controversy which is there. You are the people who went and complained. You think that politics in campuses is something which should be banned?
No, we don't take that particular stand, because we ourselves is a is an organization which believes in the politics. The point is that we can have rational debates about what the political different shades of political argument must exist in a particular campus. Whole hues of argument must exist in the particular campus. The free thinking must be promoted, but we must always remember that we are also a citizen of this country. When this particular university is formed, it is a result of an act of parliament. The act of parliament is a result of the power which the constitution gives us, and the constitution, the preamble, the objective resolution which was mooted by the Jawaharlal Nehru himself, it says that we resolve to constitute India, we resolve to constitute India into a sovereign nation. And the last line, it also says that unity and integrity of India is an essential part of that particular constitution, and we adopt and give this to ourselves. I don't think as a legal argument this is sustainable, that you can say that even having a class. Now, other point is that whether political debates of the nature like Mohanty sir was saying as to whether a person can have the opinion that Kashmir must be made free. That is also, we can also have discussions. A teacher can have a particular paper, optional course on the secession. He can have a course on the Kashmir problem, and there can be views of different shades.
If students union, students, go to the dhaba and hold a meeting there about 50, 60, 60, 100, whatever students, and discuss these issues and raise certain slogans, you think that this will come in the way of the university being run in a fair and in a proper manner?
There are clear limitations on the right, on the 19.1 right which we have when the constitution was being framed. If the 19.1a provides us the right, 19.2 provides us the duty. Dissent and duty both are the quintessence of democracy. There is a status, there is a limit till which such kind of sloganeering can be allowed.
Why did the ABVP complain about this incident?
Yeah, because this particular incident, this particular event asked for, it did not. It started criticizing the basic institutions, the fundamental institutions of this country, like judicial killing. They are saying judicial killing. There is a difference between a principal opposition to the death penalty and a position taken by the organization.
Judicial killing. Your opposition to the whole thing was the use of the word judicial killing.
The judicial killing, even the kind of because this particular organization has been having this particular event every year for the last 3 years.
Which particular organization?
DSU.
And it has been having this event for the last 3 years.
3 years. They have been organizing, such similar event has been organized for last 3 years. Even last year.
And were they raising the similar slogans in the last 3 years?
Even last year, our national flag was being burnt. It was being put under the legs. The violation of National Honours Act was being done. We have made complaints in that regard, but no particular action in that regard was taken on behalf of the university. The university as an organization, as an institution of the state, has failed to take cognizance of these things and has failed to stop the particular kind of radicalization which is taking place.
So this year, are you happy with the way the university has taken action?
The university, there are 2 layers of actions which must be taken. See, in India, we have a thicket of institutions. The institutions do not enjoy monopoly over a particular kind of thing. Whether a particular incident is a struggle between university and a student, between two students, between 2 student organizations, or between are of other natures, is a different kind of thing. This was a thing this was an event which was, and we must remember that we have not called. This is being said that we want to have a narrative wherein JNU is being represented anti-national. But on NewsX, Umar Khalid, sir, just one point.
You finish your point which you are making.
Umar Khalid on Feb 10 has gone on the TV and said that we have called media. It was not ABVP who wanted to use this particular incident and wanted to have a larger narrative.
No, you're digressing from the point which you were making earlier. You said, as far as this whole incident is concerned, why you complained is the most.
Yeah, we believe this is an offense against the state. The peace of the state is being.
I'll come to you. How do you react to that? This has been happening for the last 3 years. They have been complaining about these kind of things happening. No action apparently has been taken by the university. So this is what happened this time. And the university's action is, or what he says, this is a cumulative thing of 3 years. Events of 3 years.
Firstly, I am not aware whether such incidents, as is being said, have been happening for the last 3 years.
You have not heard of it in this last year?
No, I am not aware, and I think the previous university administration previous Vice Chancellor who was there till just 2 weeks ago, it would be rather unfair on my part to accept such criticism of his regime without him coming out and telling us what exactly might have happened under his regime or any other. And most of the administration is still the same. The provosts are still the same, the dean of students is still the same. So I'm not aware that this allegation that similar things were happening, firstly, what was happening, we are not clear, and
No,
whether
he says
similar
national
things.
flag
And
was- says
so I
national
don't
flag
want,
was
no,
burned.
excuse me, I do not want to get into the details of what allegations they are. He is making these statements. I'm not in a position to refute them or to accept them. So I would like to make my general position clear, which is that I do believe that in any university, and JNU has had a strong tradition of being a democratic space where we have had very mature students, because this is primarily a research university, where people debate and discuss their views at fairly high levels, I think, of competence. There are on any given day at least 4 or 5 world-class programs that happen in JNU, where eminent scholars and political people, beginning from Dalai Lama to Swami Agnivesh to who have you, to Noam Chomsky, people of that level come to JNU on a regular basis. So we see these programs, we see this. If we like something, we go and attend it. Now, there may have been a program, as he's talking about, where, according to what has been going on in the media, all the consensus is that I have so far followed is that some people, we do not know whether they were at all JNU students, shouted some slogans which clearly are objectionable. That's the word I would use.
Yes.
Distasteful, objectionable, not slogans that I like, as he said, or that I would not happily condemn. Now, the next step is, if such a thing happened, how should one deal with it?
Exactly.
Right? If the administration was aware in advance that this was going to happen, they could have taken better steps to stop it. All I know is that an SMS was sent 5 minutes before the event was to start. So it was obviously not taken very seriously.
SMS was sent
To the organizers to stop the
to-
event. Then if they had prior warning, as it seems from some police reports, that some objectionable event was going to happen, then rather than let it happen, then some steps should have been taken to prevent the event from happening. Some senior people could have been sent over there and say, no, we have information that you're going to do something which is against the law, and we are straight away preventing you from doing it. Nothing like that happened. It seemed it turned into some kind of a student protest, where some procession was taken out of less than 100 students from one dhaba to another, which happens almost every day in JNU, because we have, as I said, every political group worth their name has some
Has an event.
Event in JNU. At the moment, we are having a Saraswati Puja, by the way, just behind my house. We are having a hostel night in the next hostel, and we are having a student protest 5 minutes away. So within a circumference of 500 meters, there are 3 very different events happening in JNU, and this happens all the time. It's a very vibrant space. Now, all this that has happened, I think what needed to be done was, one, as we have always maintained in JNU, posters are to be answered with posters, slogans with slogans, etc. And if something is transgressed, our rules, which is if violence is committed, some other transgression, such as for example, if you are using foul language, either against teachers or against fellow students, all these things come, or you have broken some rules, there are well-established institutional mechanisms to
Within
take
the
care of
university.
it. And I can assure you that JNU, left to its devices, would have taken care of this. If at the end of that inquiry, they came to the conclusion that yes, indeed, some transgression of the law had taken place which merits police intervention and state intervention, JNU would have been the first mechanism where they would have said, please
yes,
come
Abhijeet,
in.
no, you want to respond quickly, but I haven't gone to Leni yet.
See, first point is that this even
I want to.
I will come to you, Geeta.
Sir, can I ask one question to Professor Mridula?
Geeta, let Abhijeet finish first. I'll come to you.
see
Yes, Abhijeet.
there are two kind of one of my point is that you can take it on as our own integrity. Even on your last program, teachers have come on from the campus and they have said that these kind of events have been organized earlier also. Even last year, we can't tell on the national media what kind of words are being used in relation to a event related to Ma Durga. Mahishasur Martyrs Day was being celebrated in the campus. We have made complaint. Nothing has happened. And as far as if the students were so mature, if that particular section of students was so mature, if the permission had been denied by the university, why had they continued with the event? The security agency, the security guards were standing there. They said that please don't organize the event. If they were such law-abiding citizen, they must have acted in the right capacity. So I don't think and other thing is...
Anyway, that's not the point. Let me get Leni. Yes, another point you want to make quickly.
No, another point which I want to make is that Ambedkar on 25th November 1949 said in the constitution that only 2 sections of the Constituent Assembly do oppose this constitution. They are communist and socialist. Why do they oppose?
I think.
Please let me make that.
And what did Hindu Mahasabha say? Bhagwa Jhanda.
Let's not get into
16th
let's
August
not get into this.
Hindu Mahasabha is not ABVP.
No, let us not get into quotations.
Hindu Mahasabha is not ABVP.
We'll not get into quotations. Quotations is not for quotations.
We'll talk about your ancestors.
Very quickly.
One point I would say that what is important that we say that the free speech should be accorded a sanctity. Indian Constitution has done it.
Supreme Court has done it.
Supreme Court has done it.
Court,
and I'll just cite you one example of United States of America, where a particular college president refused to give recognition to a student body called Students for Democratic Society, because it said that this has earlier in other campuses had indulged in vandalism, and that's why I cannot give it the. And the students went to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court said, you as the president, head of the institution, cannot work on this presumption that this institute will indulge in violence. And so long as they speak any kind of destructive presentations and slogans, you have no right to interfere in their affairs.
Let me get. No, Leni, how, as a student, you think that, political debates, political discussions are something which are endemic to universities?
See, I believe...
Or you think that students should confine themselves to their studies and education?
No, not at all. If people like me, even Abhijeet sitting over here, if we wouldn't have been part of this discussion and political debates in our college, in our respective college, we wouldn't have been representing our individual organizations.
And these organizations are political organizations.
Political. And yes, they are political organizations.
They are student organizations, but there's a lot of politics in this organization.
They are student organization.
In the positive sense.
Yes. Student organization affiliated to principal political parties of the country. And we are proud of, even he's sitting where I'm sitting, we'll be proud of it. My point over here is, and the problem which I would like to respond to my fellow colleague over here, Abhijeet, that is, we see a pattern in India today. Be it IIT Madras, be it FTII, be it Hyderabad University, now JNU, there has been a pattern where students' voice, the decent, has been suppressed. Their voice have been crushed down. And there is a problem over here. Why discussions and debates are not allowed? Why are they suppressing it? They want, if you say something good for a particular party, or I won't shy of saying if you are in favor of RSS, you are right. If you are not in favor of RSS, your Miss Smriti Irani termed us as goons. We have already all the time been termed as goons. We are not goons. We are student activists. We have every right to debate. We have every right to discuss. And we have every right to say no in what we don't believe. But yes, like what Madam said, what Sir said, if something that is objectionable, I won't also use the word anti-national, because the definition of anti-national, the charges of sedition are such huge that using it on students who are Kanhaiya is not a student, he's a representative of the entire Jawaharlal Nehru University. When voices of such strong person are being suppressed, there is a problem in the country and which need to be addressed.
Geeta, yes, Geeta, you wanted to ask Professor Mukherjee something.
Yeah, I wanted to ask. Yeah, Professor Mridula was saying that she's not very much aware of the event which had taken place. I would like to ask her that a couple of years back, when in Chhattisgarh, Dantewada, 76 CRPF men were killed, there was a huge celebration within the JNU campus and a lot of anti-India slogans were also raised. And this is a fact which has been reported, across the country. Everyone is aware of it. Was she not aware of even that event, and what does she have to say about that?
Yes,
Something like that, can that be justified?
1 second, yeah.
Within a, in a premier institute, a premier university of the country,
Let her answer.
if such kind of anti-country establishment
Let her answer. Yes.
are taking place.
Well, I will happily plead guilty to a lot of ignorance. There are a lot of, I do try to keep up with all the news, but I'm sorry I might be missing out on some. And yes, in the last few days, I have heard this in the media, what you have talked about. But I'm sorry to say, before that, I was not aware that this had happened in JNU. So you may well be right. And if it had happened, the law, as far as I'm concerned, should have taken its course. So if something anti-national as defined within courts happens and it clearly transgresses the law, yes, the law should have taken its course. Why should I come in the way of that? But I would like to say here we have to be very careful. You and I are not the judges of whether something is an act of sedition or not. But what is happening now is this decision is being given into the hands of crowds, of people, of I would say largely gullible people and sometimes motivated people, as it is happening in the court, where so-called lawyers are beating up journalists, they are beating up students, and today they have even beaten up the under trial, that is Kanhaiya Lal, despite the strict orders of the Supreme Court that all security. So let me just make one point, please.
Quickly.
JNU, in what I do know, there's a lot, as I said, that I'm ignorant about, obviously. But what I do know is that JNU is the most peaceful campus in this country. What I do know is it is the one place where women can walk free any time of day or night. And I have done that personally myself without any fear. What I do know is that we maintain the highest academic standards. Teachers do not miss classes, students do not miss classes, examinations are held on time, results are declared on time, admissions are done on time, and we have very good teacher-student relationships, including with our ABVP students or Naxalite-oriented students or Congress-oriented students. And let me say, we have been living as a very happily family with all kinds of internal quarrels, as families all have, but they solve it within themselves.
Very quickly, Abhijeet. Very quickly.
Sir, I have 3 points to make.
Yeah,
First of all, in case if ma'am doesn't know and if she knows now, whether in that case she still believes that this was a, if Dantewada thing, Durga Puja kind of thing.
She made her,
no, sir, I have a point. I have a
she has said that, you have,
sir,
what are the other
points?
points?
Please, sir, please.
She has responded
sir,
to that.
I have a point to make. If we make ma'am know now this thing, whether she still believes this is a
She has responded to it, Baba.
No, sir, question is different, sir.
What is your next? I don't have time. I don't have time.
Whether it is a question is still limited to the university, or then in those cases, the case by police should have been interrogated.
Then we are going away from the issue.
Second
she has responded to that,
issue.
Second point, sir.
Very quickly.
Police doesn't take my permission for doing what they do.
Ma'am, one more point.
Abhijeet, I have no time.
Sir, one point, sir. Very legal point. Sir, on the 16th constitutional amendment was
enacted. We are not talking of legalities today.
No,
we are discussing the larger issue of whether politics should be
in I want to make a very small point.
Sir, any political debate.
I just want to add one point.
Very quickly, if it is a larger point.
I would like to add one point.
Yes, Geeta.
Yeah, I know. I just want to say that JNU always had a very liberal and democratic platform. JNU has given to the teachers as well as to students. That is very true. But the point is in that sense that even some time back, Baba Ramdev was invited for a lecture for some international conference, and there was a lot of hue and cry within the JNU campus regarding it. So there were a lot of protests regarding it. So that
that's a separate issue. We can discuss that. We don't have time for that. I'm sorry, Geeta. We have completely run out of time. I have no time for anything. But this is obviously this is a discussion which needs further discussion. This is an issue which needs further discussion. We'll do that. But as of now, we're completely run out of time. Sorry. Thanks to all my guests. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue, big picture, same time tomorrow.